The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Doing It with Stiles. I really want to thank you for joining us again and for joining us every week like you do. I know that that's money well spent on my part. Thank you. Now, you know the name of the show is Doing It with Stiles, and who better to do it with Stiles than a design consultant? So my guest today is Pierrette Tanner, who is a design consultant that specializes in residential. Pierrette, thank you for coming in today and sharing time with us.
Thank you.
And so tell us a little bit about your company, and let's start there.
Okay. I have a company called Belle Maison, which means in French, the beautiful home.
Oh, I thought it meant the cool house. No.
That would be La Chaux Maison.
Okay.
So no, this is the beautiful home, and I picked that. Obviously, my heritage is French, so my mother is happy about that. So I do interior design for residential properties, and then for commercial properties, I do design as well. But it's
like
more
space planning.
Yeah, space planning and design consultation for commercial properties as well.
Right.
So for the residential, I started my business a year and a half ago, and I started at Furniture Market, and I went during the market period, and I opened up a few accounts, and since then I now have over 60 different furniture vendors that I carry.
Cool.
And I have everything from, you know, Furniture of America and Home Elegance, which are very budget friendly,
right,
to Lexington, Bernhardt, Bassett.
I like that, budget friendly.
Yes. Well, everyone lives on a budget,
yes,
so
we do.
It just, you know, varies what the budget is. So. And people always think that interior design is out of their reach, that it's so expensive, and it doesn't have to be. You know, it costs, I usually charge about $150 to come to someone's home, and for that I meet with them and talk about what their expectations are. If their expectations are really unrealistic versus their budget, then we will address that then. And then I usually take measurements, I lay it all out on paper to scale, and then I start placing where it seems the furniture should be.
Right.
You know, start thinking about the space and how it speaks to, the furniture speaks to the room.
So how do you decide that the sofa should go here, the TV should go here, the end table here, and a lamp here, and a picture here?
It's a good question.
I mean, we've heard about for years feng shui.
Right.
Is that something that you incorporate into what you're doing, or is it more of a your architectural background that has kind of fed into that?
It's everything.
Yeah.
So there's functionality. That's number one. People today frequently have pets and dogs and kids and cats, and you know, you have to have a flow through the house, which is literally kind of what feng shui is.
Exactly.
It's the flow of energy through your home. So, you know, as a designer, I try to take the flow of the home, the energy of the home into account. For functionality, we're looking at the fabric that we're going to put on the floor, on the sofa, what's going to be the most durable. If I'm going to suggest a rug, I'm not going to suggest a wool rug to someone with pets, because if the pets
Berber and pit bulls don't go together.
No, you know, so you have to consider the client and what makes sense for them. And then you also have to consider the bones of the house. So the placement of windows, the placement of doors, if you have a fireplace or a media niche. Those things are all kind of predetermined, and we have to work around them. And some spaces are more design friendly than others. Some are more challenging.
Right.
Some spaces give you a lot of options for furniture placement, and for some it's very straightforward. Like, this is the only way this is going to work if you want to be able to come in and out of the room.
Well, it's like our studio is one big open room, and
Right.
that was one of the reasons that attracted me to this space, was that it gives us the flexibility to do what
Yes.
we want, where we want, how
Yes.
we want.
It's limitless.
Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
we're not, we're not locked into, well, I got this little niche here, I got a nook here, I've got this here, that it
Right.
just doesn't work, and this works for us. So in the spirit of full disclosure, Pierrette and I worked together, what, 5 years ago?
Yeah. It's
We
been
worked
5 or 6
for a
years.
construction company at the same time, and
We
the
were
cool-
doing big apartment complexes.
Yes, we were.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing was that we had talked about back then
Yes.
about our dreams, and we are both at this point living our dreams.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I wanted to have a TV studio, and Pierrette wanted to have an interior design company, and here we all are, 5 years
Yay.
later, eh?
Beautiful thing.
It just goes to show you that never give up, and you'll get there. I am so happy for you.
Thank you.
that you
Ditto.
are. It's just it's amazing. We talked a little bit about you. You have a background in architecture.
I do. My
And
degree is in architecture.
Do you think that helps you or hurts you in what you're doing today?
I think everything in my life has helped me. My father was a magician,
I remember that.
and my mom was his assistant, and I was designing costumes by the time I was 10 years old.
Wow.
So I think that my experiences then with fabric, with design, with just learning how to be creative and thinking limitlessly
Right.
were important. And then, I grew up in Vegas, so there was always great architecture here.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it was an imitation of Rome or Paris or whatever, we always had stuff that was
you
kind of
you
over the
can't
top.
walk through the Venetian or New York,
No.
New York, or any of these Bellagio or any of these hotels without appreciating.
It's true.
The roots of where that all came from.
And I was fortunate, I spent summers in New Orleans with my older sister. So I
Oh, that
think
sucks.
all of those, it was exhausting and horrible, and the food was just disgusting.
I can imagine, yeah. And the blues and all that.
Yeah, it's terrible. I suffered greatly.
Yeah.
But I think all of those experiences combined, those things, and I lived in Rhode Island too, and my ex-husband was in the Navy.
Wow.
So one of my favorite things there were the mansions
yeah.
that the Vanderbilts had built,
Yeah.
these incredible summer cottages, as they called them. But Richard Morris Hunt was the architect for those, for many of them, and it just inspired me. And then I later studied architecture. So I think, just like everyone, we're a product of our background and
Right.
who we are, but I think architecture was definitely a nice little tool to have in my tool belt. It's worked well.
And having worked in construction my entire life, I've worked with a lot of interior designers, and they have always been the bane of my existence. Because
You're
I've
not the
always
first
said,
person to say that as
right,
a construction
and
guy.
and I've always said that I wish that more designers had a background in architecture, because they would then understand that, hey, this works great on paper,
Yep.
but the actual operation of it, or making it become a reality, is a little more difficult.
It is. It's challenging.
And so you understand that. I think that that's great that you know the challenges, that, okay, here's what we should do, but there's no way to make that happen.
Right.
So how can we adapt that to fit your needs as a consumer?
That's critical for the completion of a project. You
Of
have to
course.
have that flexibility. As a woman going into architecture, I knew the reputation of architects in general. I knew that construction people
Hated them.
Yeah, we were not your favorites. So it was even more important to me that as a woman, I wasn't going to be on the job site and be everyone's social pariah. So my first job out of architecture school, I worked for a construction company here. And I decided that I was going to learn the construction side of it too, so that I understood.
Which is awesome.
Well, and it's really served me well,
Right.
because I can go on any job site and understand the process and understand what they're trying to do, because I've seen it from both sides. So it's a unique perspective to have the design and the construction and the architectural background. I feel pretty lucky to
So
have had that experience.
What do you enjoy most about what you're doing now?
I think it suits my ADD, because when you work in architecture, your projects are exhausting and endless. So you design for a few months, and then you go into construction documents for 6 to 9 months, and then you build for 6 to 9 months or longer most of the time. So it's a good 1.5 to 2 year process before you get to do design work again. And I love that with what I'm doing now, I'm constantly challenging myself. I work with multiple clients, I work on multiple projects, and every project is so different and so unique. And it's just fun because every single day is something different. And I like that. I like that challenge, and I like that kind of non-structure.
I understand completely, because when I was in construction, my favorite part of any job or any project was putting all the pieces together. And whether the design, the construction documents, the bidding process, getting all of the people and the players and the pieces together. Once you started construction, then it was boring. You know, it's like, okay, well, I've already built this, so now I got to sit here and watch the,
Until it's done, and then you get to drive by it and go, I worked on that,
exactly.
I worked on that, I worked on that. That's kind of cool.
That is cool. But it's like when the project is finished and then you get to start another one, it's like, okay, now this is the fun part. This is stuff that we get to do.
And I think it suits us because we're problem solvers, and we like the challenge of how am I going to solve this one? This one seems daunting and unresolvable, but everything can be fixed. It's just how you get there and being creative enough to find the solution.
And I'm sure that you found this to be true. If you are handed a job or a project that there's no problems, it's a no-brainer, blah, 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 you're done, you don't learn anything.
No, you don't. That's true.
You learn things from when you run into roadblocks and when you run into problems, and that's when you get to use your mind and figure out, okay, how can we make this work?
That's the biggest learning curve, for sure. I agree.
So what do you hate about it? What's the worst part about doing what you're doing now?
I hate it when I feel like I didn't get it right. When I've finished a project and a client says, for whatever reason, oh, I'm just not happy with that table or with that rug, because that means I didn't do my job to get into their head enough. So I'm constantly asking questions and almost doing detective work, like looking at how people dress, or the pieces of furniture they currently have in their home, or the pieces they send me. I always give them Pinterest homework.
There you go.
Sometimes there's an incredible consistency. Everything they've sent you is cream. Well, we're not going to do their house in gray. We're going to do it in cream. Sometimes they're all over the board. And neither one is bad. It just is a different set of client expectations.
Well,
so,
you're basically trying to read their mind.
Yes,
because
I am.
They have a picture in their head. They know exactly what they're looking for in most cases.
Sometimes.
Right.
I would say it's probably closer to 50%. Although, I would say the 50% that don't think that they know what they want know more of what they want than they think they do.
Right.
They have some expectations. They just don't know how to put it together to create a finished product, which is where I come in.
Right.
I take this piece and that piece that they like, and I go, those match, or those don't match, or those work together if we do this,
So are you finding more of your clients are remodeling or redecorating existing homes, or they've just bought a new home and they don't know what to do?
I've done both.
So what do you like doing best?
Well, it's always fun when you can start with a clean slate.
Clean slate.
But that rarely happens, because most people, even if you're moving into a new home, you're bringing some of your old furniture with you. And especially because a few years ago, Old World and Tuscan were huge. So people are really moving away from that style now. But that's not a smooth transition, and it's expensive to invest in all new furniture. So finding pieces that can transition or that can help them to be happy with what they have temporarily, or that we can replace certain pieces and keep others, it's a process. And frequently, it's very, I'd say 50% of my clients are working it that way. And then 50% come in and say, no. I had one client that sold everything. Dishes, pots, pans, sold everything, and got a new house and started over. And for him, I started ended up starting a concierge portion to my business. So I went and I bought his pots and pans and dishes and silverware and towels and bath mats. And so it was completely turnkey. He walked into that house and, you know, everything but toilet paper and dish soap.
Yeah.
So it was a great service for him as a busy guy with 2 boys, you know, and it was fun for me because you
got to shop.
Well, yeah, that was great. And
that wasn't a sexist comment because I sometimes like buying stuff too, but
no,
mine is more the electronic type. So
it's because you know that I like to shop.
Yes, I
really.
know.
But I think that's the only part that I dislike about what I do is when I feel like I didn't get it right.
Yeah.
But that hasn't happened a lot.
But that's tough for all of us.
It is.
You know, and we have the same problem here at WWDB-TV.
Yep.
It's like when we've done a show and maybe the host or the client's happy with it, but we know
could have done better.
we could have done better.
Yes.
And that's what we continuously trying to do, and I know that you probably do too, because I
Yes.
know you, so I can say that. So, and you're based out of Henderson?
I am.
Okay. Do you find that there's one area of the valley that you find yourself working in more than another, or?
No, because it's kind of come from everywhere. I've done a lot of marketing and I've done a lot of, you know, Facebook advertising
Right,
and stuff.
outreach
But what
and-
I've found is that my clients have come from one-on-one referrals.
Yes.
So, you know, every client that I have came to me through a friend or through a realtor or through another client. So they've all been one-on-one referrals, and that's kind of taken me all over the valley. I've worked pretty much everywhere, including Boulder City. So as far northwest as, you know, almost to Mount Charleston,
Okay.
all the way to Boulder City. So
Cool.
there's really nothing that's off limits.
Well, it's not
Yeah.
that far.
Yeah,
you know,
no,
I mean,
we're spoiled here.
I know, I know. Driving from, because I live over in the northwest, and driving from there to Henderson is like, oh man, you know, and that's nothing.
It's
so,
not, especially if you've ever lived or worked in LA. I mean,
Yeah,
it's so
big time.
spoiled living here.
Yeah, tell me about it. So, it's. I know that this is exciting for you because I know this is something that has been your dream for a while, and to be
Yes.
actually doing it now. Do you have any advice for people that are I mean, because you haven't really made a drastic transition. This is the culmination of everything that you've done.
It really is,
Has
yeah.
come to a point. Do you have any advice for people that want to focus more on what they want to do instead of what they have to do to earn a living and survive?
I have always told my kids, just follow what you love and the money comes. You know, like I said, my dad was a magician, and when I was 10 years old, we were doing a show at the Sahara Hotel, and
Wow.
I saw a girl there belly dancing. And I said to my dad, oh my gosh, that's what I want to be when I grow up. And my dad didn't go, you are out of your mind.
Yeah.
He went, well, let's go meet them. And, you know, so I went and I
Yeah.
met them, and the next week I started classes. And belly dancing and doing magic and eating fire, which my dad taught me also when I was 10 in the backyard with a torch.
We
And-
just happen to have a torch here. No, I'm kidding.
If you would
I'm
have
just
told me, I
kidding.
would have brought them.
No.
And working with snakes, paid for architecture school.
Wow.
So, and that was
So
something
did
that
you
I
work
pursued.
here in Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was my primary income for years. I was the
Wow.
only female fire eating, belly dancing snake charmer in Las Vegas
Wow.
for years. And I loved that. I have great memories. I've had great experiences. And I was fortunate enough to do something that I was really passionate about and
Yeah.
make a living. And I think architecture has worked out the same way. You know, obviously it was a little harder after 2008 when everything, I always say the economy was more dead than Abraham Lincoln
Yeah.
at that point. But, you know, we're all bouncing back. And I feel really blessed to be pursuing something that I love with clients who challenge me and who they've become my friends.
Yeah.
You know, I feel so grateful to do this.
If doing it the way you're doing it is, you're not just coming in and saying, put a picture here, put the sofa there,
Oh,
make
no.
this red.
Oh,
You
no.
are, and I like that that's what you said about you're basically finding out what's at their core
Mm-hmm.
and their lifestyle and how do they live, and then adapting whatever it is that they want or you have in mind to fit that lifestyle.
And that's what it should be. I
That-
mean, It's not about
Right.
my opinion. It's not about what I think your home should have in it. It's about what you think your home should have in it. I just help you get there.
Right.
I help you
Here's your options.
take those pieces and translate it into reality.
Right.
And that's the cool part, because people think it's all me, but it's not.
I know.
It's really a team effort. And when it's right, when we get it right, and they walk inside and they're blown away, that is the best feeling ever. Because first of all, it's such a compliment that anyone would invite me into their home to work on their home with them, because that's their sanctuary.
Yeah.
And when I get it right and they walk in and it's perfect and it's better than what they expected, I just got to chill. It's the best thing ever, because I get every day that they come home, they're going to be happy to be there. Yeah. And that's really a gift that I give my clients.
And that they give you.
Yeah.
Because I understand that feeling. Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand that feeling, and it's you know, it's something that you've created. It's something that you've accomplished that you can, you know, without being egotistical, you can be proud of.
Yes.
And know that, okay, and I learned something from that experience that I can take to the next client or the next project or whatever. and that's great, because we are continuously growing then and becoming a better version of ourselves every time that we do that. So,
Absolutely true.
and it's not everybody gets to do that.
I know, and they're really missing out.
Aren't
Follow
they?
your dreams, people.
What the
Follow
hell's the
your
matter with you
dreams.
people? So what do you see, I mean, do you have any plans for, okay, now I'm doing this and I pretty much got a handle on it, I want to expand and include this in my business?
Well, it's kind of already happening. You know, last year I had a couple of realtors ask me, can you do staging? And I was like, well, sure. You know, that's just designing with furniture I already have.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can do that. So I've expanded into staging, and I've done some remodeling projects for clients. Last summer I helped one of my clients from 15 years ago, and we remodeled her bathroom. She had some water damage, and then they decided, you know, we're just going to, rather than replacing it with the same stuff we had, let's redesign it.
Right.
And so I was there and I helped them, you know, through every step. And I was even drawing on the wall for the tile guy, like this tile goes here, this tile goes here, this tile goes here. And, you know, it came out absolutely beautiful. And I've helped some clients just pick tile for the fireplace or pick flooring for their house. You know, it depends on what their project is. But I think every new project that I've done has expanded my repertoire to some degree. I've had clients say, oh, can you get me a television? So now I opened an account with Samsung, and I also get Samsung, Sony, and Vizio TVs. I had a client ask me about kitchen cabinets, so now I carry 3 different cabinet manufacturers.
Excellent.
I have 3 or 4 different mattress manufacturers.
So you spend a lot of time over at the World Marketplace?
Yeah. But every project that I've done has created a need, and filling that need for the client or solving that problem has expanded what I'm able to provide the next client. So
right. Well, that adds a tool to your toolbox.
Yeah,
so you can,
exactly.
You know.
And so I call my company a full service design firm, but I really mean that. Like, we can do anything that they need, including a concierge service, like where you would come over and pick all the dishes and plates. And, you know, so it really is, my goal ultimately is to have a full service design company where my clients can come to me for anything.
So and that would include, I want to rehabilitate my house. You know, I've got a home, I want to rip out the kitchen, I want to put in a new kitchen, I want to do this, and you can provide all those services.
And I've already done some of that too.
Cool.
I've worked on a couple of kitchens with clients and a couple of bathroom projects, and so remodeling is not out of the question either, and that's where that construction background comes in handy, because
no doubt.
Yeah,
you know. I like it.
And it always surprises the plumbers when I know the terminology. It's kind of fun. See their face.
I'm sorry, that's the wrong kind of angle stop. What? What's an angle stop?
Oh, it's good stuff. Yeah, they don't expect that, especially because I wear heels everywhere I go. So, you know, I show up at the client's home and I'm all dressed cute and with my high heels, and I'm walking around the site and they're looking at me like, this girl has lost her mind. Yeah.
I love it. So
I know, it's cool.
I'm really, really happy for you. Like I said, I know how
Thank you.
important this was to you and how much you wanted it, and to actually see someone that you know has accomplished their goals is just it's awesome. I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you. I'm really happy.
And I know that you've had to work harder just to be thought of as half as good.
I think I've been lucky in that regard.
Yeah.
I think there have been a handful of experiences that I could think of immediately where I know for certain that someone judged me because of their impression of me, because I'm giggly or, you know, but
and that's exactly what I meant.
But I like that challenge because I know that
throws
in
them off
the
balance,
end,
doesn't it?
well, I know that in the end I'm going to win them over because I am smart enough and I do have the background and I do want to make things work. So I'm going to apply myself until it's right, and that always earns their respect. So I've been pretty fortunate to have a pretty good tool belt that has gotten me there. It's nice.
So I want you to tell the people out there, how can they get a hold of you?
Okay.
All your contact information and anything that you would like them to know about you and your company.
Okay. So I am currently working on my website, which is LBM for La Belle Maison, Design, LV for Las Vegas.com. So LBMDesignLV.com. It's under construction, so don't judge me. It's not super cute yet. But there
I've
will
been to
be
the site.
pictures.
I mean, yeah, it's coming along very nicely.
Thank you.
So, yeah,
Yeah, and I'm adding a blog too.
Ooh.
So I just my current website is LBMLV.com.
Oh, okay, that's
and
the one.
that's
Yeah,
the
I
pretty
haven't
one.
seen the new one then. I
No,
have looked at the existing.
That one looks pretty cute.
Yeah, it does.
But we are redesigning it on WordPress so that we can add a blog, because it's something that that has come to my attention through my clients and through some of, you know, why aren't you sharing the information and experience that you're sharing with me with all of your other clients? So I'm going to give it a shot, and we'll see how that goes.
Cool. I might have some ideas for you.
I would look forward to it. It's
Okay,
a challenge.
so that's your website.
Yes.
If somebody, is that the best place to contact you? Or?
Well, can I give my number?
Yeah, please.
Oh, okay. So-
You're the one that has to answer the phone, not me. So,
So type this in your phone or get out a pen and paper, 702-349-9009. And you can text or call. Texting I can pretty much answer anytime. Calling, if I'm in an appointment, obviously that client gets my full attention first. But
good.
yeah, so and feel free, they can call, they can or text and make an appointment, and we come out and we figure out what they need and how we're going to get them there.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that we can maybe make this a regular deal going down the
love
road.
to.
And you know, it's always great. I'm always looking to have people on the show.
Oh,
And my partner Beth ran into you because we haven't seen each other in 5 years.
I know, it's been a
and,
minute.
And ran into you at a networking event and just happened to mention my name, and you
I know.
remembered, and now
That
here we
was
are.
crazy weird.
So you were obviously meant to be here.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful. Thank
Me
you.
too. So anyway, I'd like to thank you all for coming back and putting up with my crap again. I'll try to figure out something else to do next week that will make it worth your while. And as I said, if you're going to do it with Stiles. Thank you.
Nice work, John.